Hi, it's Doll's House Advent Calendar time, and we're going to be doing, I've got to get the numbers right here, we're going to be doing number 7. I've got some mixed up because I'm doing a catch up. Again, I've said on the other video, so apologies for the sort of repeating of it, but different people watch for different reasons, so you might not all watch all these videos. But basically, I'm running a little bit behind, so I'm having to try and catch up because I went to hospital this week to have my ankle checked, all going well-ish. Now, it's not healing as fast as it should, so I'm back in a boot for walking, which is a much better boot than I had last time, so it supports me better. And I've got to have some physio and things like that, and review me again in 6 weeks. So I've still got to put up with a boot for the next 6 weeks. Not great, but it is going in the right direction, but it's going very slowly. That is the only thing. In theory, it should actually have already been healed, but there you go, things happen, don't they? So I'm trying to catch up, and I've got things all over my table at the moment. So we did the garlands and that for the last video, and then this one I'm going to be looking at the little brads I've got for my windows, and we're going to be looking at sort of making some little cushions just to pop on the sofa there for the little dolls. So what did I say we're on? We're on number 7, aren't we? We are on number 7. We have a little parcel in number 7. So we're going to go top down and have a look at the parcel, as well as have a look at our little cushion and the little brads that have made perfect little handles for my doors. So see you in a second top down, and if you enjoy the videos, you know what to do. Please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all very soon to have a look at what we've actually got. Box number 7, and here it is with a little sleigh and a cute little robin there on the corner. So we can see it's wrapped up, usually because it's tissue paper, it's usually quite easy to get into. So, but I've got to be careful because one of the items was glass, wasn't it? So you do have to be very, very careful. Oh, what we got? Oh, I think it's a little plant. Oh, this is going to be perfect. Oh, look at that. Now, again, that's going to fit in really nicely. I think for my sort of the 1/16 scale, it's going to be like a floor plant. So I think it's going to stand on the floor rather than on a table because that's quite large, isn't it? In my Cindy house, that would sit as a nice little house plant. So it goes any scale, but it just depends whether it's going to be on the side or whether it's going to be on the floor. Now, I'm pretty sure on the floor because, you know, little Jelly is only about this big. So it would be a rather large pot plant to have on her sideboard. So yeah, I think that'll look nice. I mean, obviously it's not sort of Christmassy per se, so it can stay in the house all year. I suppose I could stick some baubles on it, but that won't do. I'm going to leave it as it is. So that is number 7. I hope you're going to watch me doing a little bit more work on the house for the next part of the video. And I'm over the moon. Everything's been perfect up to now in this little doll's house collection. So we'll see you tomorrow with number 8. So now we're going to have a look at how I'm going to address the handles on these little windows. Now, I mentioned before, one of them, when we bought it, had actually got what we call a brad, or on here they're calling it paper fasteners. So I've still got some glue on my fingers from previous, but I hope you can see those well enough. So it's like a little split pin. So basically you push it through and open up the pins. Now, somebody had used it for the door, and I thought, well, that's actually quite a good idea. It was a little bit small, that one, so I did decide to get a different set. So these, they've got the size on them. I've got a feeling it doesn't say, it just says 100 items. I think, looking at them, I think they were about 4 or 5 millimeters. Best to always sort of just measure across. I know I did do that, but I can't remember what the actual measurement was. And basically, I've put these 2 on, and I think they look quite cute. Now, in this, I bought this pack because there was a mixture of colours. I'm really hoping there is enough green ones because there's 100 in there. So I thought, well, there's a good chance there should be enough green ones. So this is basically... it's just so simple to do. Says me, since I've had my nails done, I can't do anything. So they just push through. I thought it looked quite nice as it being a vintage green. And then we just separate them. And that's it. We have a new little window. So we need another green one. Because I've also, after this window, I need I need another 3. So in you go. Let's turn you over. They do need sort of flattening a little bit better than I'm doing now. I'm just sort of doing this approximate. So you need to make sure they're in tight, and then you push them through. So yeah, I think these are working really nice. I'm so pleased. I had thought about sticking beads on and all sorts of things, but I think this is probably the best method. And if you do want to stop your windows opening, you can actually sort of twist it so it does work like a little fastener as well. So I think that looks okay. I'm really pleased with that. So I need, did I say I need another 3? So let's see, I've got, oh, 1 green. Oh no, we're okay. 1, in fact there's more than 3. 2, 3. So I've got 3 green ones there, and there's also another one there. So there's a few. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with all these, but they will go in the, I'm going to have a little pot just for bits like this, because to be honest, they make quite nice studs onto a cushion. In fact, while we're thinking about cushions, we could think about that. There's lots of different things you could use them for, I'm sure, but they are classed as, whatever that says, paper fasteners. I put in brads and I put in the size that I wanted because I know they're used a lot in paper crafting, so that is why I went for them. So that's been a success for the windows. We're still waiting for them to be knocked in. If I could find my tiny hammer, my husband said he'd do it for me, but I have not got a clue, so we might have to find something temporarily to knock them in with. Not very good, but you know, that's how it's going to have to be. Now, as far as a cushion is concerned, I decided I wanted, now you've seen that I've got some plain cushions in, I just did some sort of little plain red ones to go on the sofa, but I thought it might nice to have a little bit of colour in there. Now there's so much of this fabric, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I just thought it was really super pretty, and to be honest, to make a cushion could not be any easier. You do need to do a little bit of stitching. I'm going to make it slightly larger than required, as in cutting the fabric, because it's easier to work with. If you cut it down to this size and try and sew it, it's going to get in your way. So I know I sort of mentioned it with this one, but all I'm going to do, fold it in half. My little pink cushion is somewhere. Here he is, my little hedgehog. Now this was from the Hedgehog Rescue. I know somebody had asked me about it. It's not something I can sort of send them to. It was just a little stall that they had in our village for Hedgehog Rescue. So I'm basically going to pin it into place like that. Now, looking at the size of that one, and I'm going to take a pen because it's on the inside. You can get pens, obviously, that are erasable or do disappear as you go. I'm just going to take it a little bit wider. So there. So we've got a line. In fact, move it down there. Imagine it's there. And a line. Now, as far as stitching is concerned, I'm only going to, because we've got a fold here, we don't need to stitch at all, I'm just going to stitch down these 2 lines. Now I'm going to use a back stitch on it. I don't know why I've picked up my red cotton, because I don't need red cotton for that, so I'm going to pause it and get some, I think we need a green, don't we, a nice green, so I'll be back in a second with that one. So I have a nice dark green here. This is actually a really old cotton reel, this one, so I need some thread. I've just used my teeth, which you shouldn't do that, but I'm sure we all do sometimes. There's no needle in that one, so that is really useful. So let's see if on my needle minder even, we have one. So let's get threaded up. Now, sometimes I use a double thread. I don't think it's needed for something this small. Says me, I can't even thread the needle. Could do with a better light in here. I really don't like working at night. I start winding down at night rather than working. But because it's been so crazy, I'm having to catch up. This thread doesn't want to go through. I'm going to cut it nice and sharp. That's it. If you've got a nice sharp edge, it's easier. Ta-da! Look at that. That made a massive difference. So I just need a little knot at the other end. And I can see where I'm going to be going, so I'm just going to start at this end, and I'm going to use a little back stitch. So I'm just going to go behind where I started, and I'm going to come up just to the other side of it. Now if you're not sure on your stitches, in fact I'm going to take that pin out because it's going to get in the way, it's best to sort of have a look, look at some other tutorials, because I'm not a stitcher. I can do some, but I'm not that's not my area of expertise, I'm afraid. So all I'm going to do is a little back stitch all the way along. I'm just roughly following the line that I created. It's not the end of the world if you go slightly off, because I've gone slightly off. I'll just move it over as I want it. Could be a larger cushion, that's all. Take that one out as well. It does hold without the pin, to be honest. It just gives you an idea. Helps you get it in place to start with. So a back stitch, you could use a running stitch, but when you stuff it, it might open slightly. I would recommend a back stitch for this. Try and keep them as small as you can. Imagine if you've got a sewing machine, roughly what the sewing machine size would be. Now I don't really need to go much further. Now if I get my little cushion again, if you look, I've probably done enough. So I'm now going to back stitch into this and do a little knot and fasten off. So it's nothing fancy, nothing amazing. It's just a bog standard stitch. And let's just cut it. And we'll do the other side. If you want to fast forward this bit, by all means. So, because I went over slightly there, I'm going to come in slightly here as well. I think this might be a larger cushion than I'd actually anticipated. Because if I was just making this on my own without the video, I would take a little bit longer to do it. Take my time, but you don't want to watch me do that, do you? I suppose I could have made the video and just fast forwarded it, but I'm not very good at doing that speedy up bit. I know you can do it on the video editor, but it's not something I've really mastered. And it's never knowing whether people want you to speed up or not. You can speed up yourself, so you don't have to watch me at this speed. But some people like to watch you do the whole thing, and some people would rather not and just fast forward. I understand both sides of that. So I'm nearly there already. Yep, I would say that's the last one. Got a bit tangled there. Right, now I need to trim the edges, so be very careful to trim as small as you can, but don't want it to sort of catch where your stitches is. I'm just going to very tiny take a bit of the corner off, and down this side, and again tiny bit of the corner. Just watch where you're cutting. Now we're going to turn it inside out. I'm just going to get these scissors to poke the corners out. Just be careful when you're doing this. So you can see the size it's come out. It's actually the size I wanted, so I'm quite happy with that. And then there's all this. Now this we can fold in, which I'm going to do. I'm going to fold it in both sides because I've got to stuff it anyway. Now I did put some stuff in. Oh, I can see it. And I say I did put some stuff in on my table. Decide where you want it size-wise. So I've just literally folded the two ends in. If you think you've got loads of fabric, you might want to cut it off. But I'm quite happy with the amount I've got, as long as it doesn't affect the shape. So again, I'm just going to pop my scissors in, make sure that's nice and flat. And tiny bit of toy stuffing. Or it could be a little bit of cotton wool, something like that. Because if it's for a doll's house, you don't have to worry so much. I have toy stuffing because I think, you know, for my amigurumi, I like to use sort of a good quality sort of toy stuffing. So I've always got a little bit. So we have our little cushion. We need to fasten it up. So we're going to get another piece of thread. Well, I knocked the camera flying then, so let's start again. Now, my needle is somewhere. Now, problem I have, oh, it's over there, is because I use a needle minder, it's magnetic. So my needles and my scissors also become magnetic. So I sometimes can't find a needle, and it's because it's stuck to my scissors. Let's see if I can thread this one up again. I should have had these threaded up in advance, shouldn't I? And it would have been so much easier rather than you watching me struggle. Come on, needle. These have got very small eyes on these. I could do with some of them, some larger eyes. We're through. So I need to knot it. And what I'm going to do is push my stuffing down as far as I can because I don't want it in the way. And I'm going to come up through there. So my knot is inside. Again, different ways of doing this. I overstitch mine. Some people use ladder stitches, but I think especially at this scale, an overstitch is more than adequate. So just basically picking up one side, picking up the other side, keeping it small, keeping it tight. So a little bit there, I need to push in a little bit further. Make sure there's no stuff in there. You don't want bits of stuffing sticking out of your cushion. And a little knot at the end. I'm just going to push my thread through the other side and cut it off. That's it. We have a very simple, very basic little pillow. Let's get my sofa in. Now the sofa's still got a clip on it at the moment because I've been sticking this on. So let me take the clip off so we can flatten it. So she got that pillow, and now we have a different pillow. A nice little festive, just a basic little simple pillow. It took minutes, really. A little bit of thread, a little bit of scrap fabric, and I'm quite pleased with that. I might make a couple over those. So that is the end of that video for today. Hope you enjoyed that. If you do enjoy the videos, you know what to do. Like, subscribe and share, and I will see you with a little bit more progression with the doll's house very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching.